you. When I was told that I couldn't have what I wanted, what I dreamed of, and what I desired, and that was to rap. I was willing to die for it. Once my thoughts got radical and got, to where you got to stop yourself and stop and pause and say, what did you just think again?
Anyone else just grow up on Lil Wayne and think that he was the coolest, most talented rapper alive? Just me? The block is hot. All of those things, chicken wangs. He was everything, y'all. And I am so proud of him for opening up about his mental health. Hey Jelly Beans, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here and you didn't know already, my name is Tarrah and thank you so much for being here. If you like commentary, deep dives, and you like my vibe and want to subscribe and join the Jelly Bean tribe, please do. And don't forget to hit the notification bell down below so you don't miss on any of my new uploads. Cheers! I did not think this was going to be a thing. I planned on filming my unpopular opinions about YouTubers. Vincent, this dog today, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, all day while I was live with y'all earlier. Before moving forward, never forget my Jelly Beans and new patrons, or whoever you may be. Anything I talk about in this video, just like always, are my opinions. My opinions. My fresh opinions. Do not spread any hate to anyone mentioned in this video. And before moving forward, I would love to know, what is your favorite Lil Wayne song? My favorites, it's torn. I'm torn between Fireman or Single. Two really great songs. I feel like I'm missing some more great ones. I was such a Lil Wayne fan. Were you a Lil Wayne fan? I would love to know. I watched last night this interview that the greatest rapper alive, Lil Wayne, did. It's Young Moolah Baby with Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel runs a YouTube channel here on the platform and he interviews different celebrities, different people. I never would have expected for Lil Wayne to be featured on Emmanuel's channel. I've been subscribed to Acho, which is kind of embarrassing because I forgot his name, for a few months now, and I really have been inspired by a lot of the content that he creates. Really, Vin Man? Really, Vin Man? Come here. Little Vin Man, he's going through it right now. He's having a bad reaction to a soap that I used on him. So send all the loves to the little Vin Man and all the virtual scratches his way. So like I was saying, Lil Wayne did this interview with Acho, and all about his mental health. He did it yesterday. When I'm filming this, I watched it last night, and I was very moved and inspired by Lil Wayne's interview. The title is called Mental Health Doesn't Discriminate, featuring Lil Wayne, Uncomfortable Conversations with Emmanuel. So again, Emmanuel Acho, he does a lot of these mental health interviews and just brings up conversations about things that are a little uncomfy, right? So moving on to the Lil Wayne interview. By the way, I feel like so many of the youngins don't appreciate Lil Wayne as much as he was like such an inspiration to a lot of us. I feel like he was everywhere when I was growing up. His music, especially living in the South, his music was everywhere. His story I would watch on VH1. What is that show they used to have where they would do like the biographies or autobiographies of different singers and songwriters and just different famous people? Why can I not remember the name of that VH1 show? I gotta Google it. It's gonna drive me crazy. No, it wasn't The Surreal Life. What was it called? I guess I'm not gonna be able to find it. If you remember the name of that show, leave it down in the comments below. But during his interview, and a lot of interviews or autobiography shows that have talked about Lil Wayne, two things always stuck out to me. Three things really. One, the fact that he ended up accidentally harming himself with a hand, you know what, and he was a child when this happened. His life was saved by Bob, some guy named Bob. I always remember that, Bob. Two was that he supposedly, allegedly, never wrote down any of his rhymes. And three, the fact of where he was brought up, which was New Orleans, and just kind of the lifestyle he was involved in, gang activity, that, you know, all that jazz. So one of the three things was, again, him harming himself with a hand, you know what. And he actually opened up in this interview about how that was intentional. So this whole interview was Lil Wayne discussing his mental health, even being a celebrity, and how that's truly affected him, starting from him being a child. And he opens up about how his aunt called him and basically said, or his aunt let him know that, hey, your mother knows that you've been lying about school and not going to school or what have you, something to do with school. I'll play the clip for y'all.
When did you check the temperature of yourself? When did you realize, you know what? I might have some mental health issues that I have to work through.
Oh, I realized that at a very young age.
When would you say they started? 13, 14?
Young, yeah, as a kid, around 10. Feeling like you, when I was told that I couldn't have what I wanted, what I dreamed of, and what I desired, and that was to rap. I was willing to die for it.
So many people, they don't know how to classify it. Mental health can play itself out, as you know better than I, as physical pain. It can play itself out as body aches. The world hasn't properly responded to mental health. So what was the moment that you realized, oh no, this is a mental health issue?
Once my thoughts got radical and got, to where you got to stop yourself and stop and pause and say, what did you just think again? Or even if you cried yourself to sleep with that thought on your mind and wake up the next day and be like, I cannot believe I was thinking like that.
Thoughts like what?
Thoughts like killing yourself.
You thought about killing yourself?
Well, actually, when I was 12 years old, school year was kind of ending. So what the school was doing was they was giving us half days on a Thursday and a Friday. It may have been a Wednesday as well, but what I would do was just tell my mom that I only had a half a day on one of those days. So therefore I stayed out the rest of the whole day, just like it was a full day. She found out. And so when I got home, on that thing, it was that Friday, whatever, I got home, got a phone call from my aunt, was like, she found out, boy, you about to get your ass kicked, and all that rapping and all that, she about to take that rap photo, she about to throw that shit away, and I was like, wow, so all that had built up to me. So that was a build up. I just listened to my aunt, like, I hear you, because she was, she said, boy, you about to get your ass, when she get home, your mama takes, so she actually said, she was like, she's taking off. Hung up the phone, thoughts everywhere, thoughts everywhere. Main thought was, I'm gonna show you.
What were you gonna show her?
So I picked up the phone, I called the police. Yes, I knew her, she kept her gun, and it was in her bedroom. And so I went in the bedroom, grabbed the gun. I already made the phone call, looked in the mirror, did like that. Of course, it was like, oh no, cause I got a little too scared out of my head, like, no. But then I said, fuck it. Biggie was on. I'm looking in the mirror, so you could look through the mirror, and the television was behind me. So I was watching the video through the mirror. One More Chance was on, and I think Biggie was already gone or something. So I was just looking, and it was like, you know what? Start thinking I had to get myself mad, and notice I didn't have to. That's what scared me. How I know I had mental health problems was I pulled the trigger.
You actually pulled the trigger?
Yeah, I pulled the trigger.
Where'd you shoot?
In my chest. Didn't feel a thing from my heart. I didn't feel a thing though, so I wasn't going through any pain. It was a shock. I woke up to the police knocking, and I was like, that's what woke me up.
So his aunt lets Lil Wayne know, like, hey, your mom's gonna take all your raps, she's gonna whoop your behinds, and she's gonna destroy all of your raps. Like, rapping is not gonna be a thing. Get that out of your head. You're done. It's done. It is what it is, chicken wang. So what did he do? He called the police. He knew where his mom's hand thing was, and he intentionally harmed himself because he thought there was no way out. He thought not being able to be a rapper, that he had no purpose in this world, right? So from a very young age, he struggled with mental health. And he also opened up about how his mother would never listen to him, how he didn't feel like he could talk about his feelings or state his opinions, and how being a rapper was truly the one thing that made him, again, feel like he had some purpose on this world, right? After that incident of where he does that to himself because he succeeds, he ends up, like, his whole life changes, right? His mother ends up being more empathetic, starts letting him talk about his feelings. He says that was the moment that changed everything in regards to his mother, that she was never that woman before that happened that he remembered. She was a better mother moving forward, which to me must have been such a mind F, right? Because it took such an extreme incident, this cry for help from this child, for his mother to wake up and realize my parenting style is not working. And his mom was the mom and the dad because Lil Wayne's father was never there, right? Something that was so powerful to me during this interview is when Emmanuel asks Lil Wayne what he wants people to know about mental health. And his response, Lil Wayne's response, seriously had me just like, I had chills, y'all. Like, I literally had chills last night listening to this.
What I wish they knew is that it's real. That is real. And there is no bar to measure how real. It's real. And so it's so real that if someone even have the the guts, the heart, the bravery, whatever, to at least admit that they have something going on up there that they're not sure about. It's so real that we should only react in the realest way possible. We should remember it's not considered. And if you are a parent of a kid with a mental health problem or something, you think, like I say, even if you think, react with the realest reaction. I ain't saying be like my mom, but all I know is from that day forward, I've never seen or met that lady again. That was the realest reaction she could have given.
And his response was that it's real. I also highly recommend, if you have not watched this full interview, to check it out. It's a very moving, powerful interview. And I know that there's a lot of things that people say about Lil Wayne, and there's a lot of things that you can bring up about Lil Wayne that are problematic. But for me as a child, again, who grew up where Lil Wayne was all the rage, and where Lil Wayne was such an inspiration to a lot of us, it's just so amazing that and just so inspiring that he was able to be so vulnerable in this interview. And again, yes, I know that Lil Wayne has had problematic moments, don't get me wrong. There's some things chicken wing out there about him, right? To me, this was so inspiring, not only for someone like me, but I feel like for Black men out there in general, because Black men and just Black women in general, people of color, but mainly Black men, there's such a stigma behind them being able to open up about their mental health. They're almost seen as weak. And Charlemagne the God is another great man that I see, Black man that I see, that is really great about being open and honest and vulnerable about his mental health. And that can truly inspire other Black men to be able to open up about their mental health in a world where they are heavily criticized for doing so, in a world where they are seemed weak or less than or not taken seriously when they do open up about their mental health. I truly commend Lil Wayne for doing this, for using his platform, his voice, for being so vulnerable, for just sharing his life experience, just sharing his views on mental health. That was the first time that I ever heard, and I've watched so many interviews where Lil Wayne has been a part of them. I've watched so many documentaries and autobiography type things on Lil Wayne. I've read books and articles on Lil Wayne because I used to be such a fan of his. And I never once heard him admit to it being a self-inflicted injury until this interview. He also goes to open up about how even though he had all this fame and money and everything was going great, how he still felt so alone, that after, you know, the lights went out and after the crowd was gone, that he just was so alone within himself. And he also goes on to admit that a lot of it is perception. A lot of it could have been what he was feeding to himself. And, you know, there's been a lot of things out there about the women in his life and the women that he's chosen. And you can even look at his music. He was on and off again with his daughter's mom for years and years. And I believe he was a teen father as well, if I remember correctly. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Lil Wayne also talks about, after Emmanuel asked him, like, at your highest point in your career, like, what was the one thing that was the darkest or something like that? I'll play that clip for you guys here.
At the height of you being a star, what was the lowest point of your career?
Not being able, that's a good question. When I was going through this situation with my record label and they wouldn't allow me to put an album out or put any music out. So when you compare that to whatever my mental health problem was back then, it was because I wasn't being allowed to do this, to be productive and be creative and to feel that I would love to do so.
So as an adult, the lowest point of your career was your label not letting you put music out. How bad did that hurt you? What did that do to you mentally?
My reaction and my actions that I wanted to take was quit. I want to retire.
That moved me so much, the way he basically said that when his label, which was with Birdman, again, I know a lot about Lil Wayne, probably more than someone should. You know, we all have those we're teenagers, we all have those celebrities that we just love. But, you know, when he was under Birdman's label, there was some stuff that went on with Birdman. Birdman wasn't paying him, and then the other people from Young Money weren't getting paid. It was like a whole thing, chicken wing. You can Google it and really look down that rabbit hole if you want to. And there was also rumors about Birdman and him, and like their relationship was weird. Again, it's a rabbit hole. You can go down it if you want to. Lil Wayne talks about how him not being productive and his label cutting off him not being able to put out music really sent him in this bad space, because for him it's all about being able to create. It's all about him being able to help others create, right? It takes you back to, again, when he was that child and he was threatened to not being able to rap anymore, about all of his raps being destroyed and his career not being a thing, chicken wing. So him not being able to do what he feels like his purpose was in life, which is to create music and to help others create music. So now he has been putting out music. I have a lot of his newer songs like Diamonds on my playlist. It's not bad. His music has definitely evolved over the years, and we've seen Lil Wayne be able to mold to whatever is popular at the time, whereas I feel like the music he's putting out now is him not trying to mold, it's just him creating music, if that makes sense. I just really wanted to talk about this interview because, again, I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan, and I have been for years. Probably not so much now that I'm older than when I was younger, but I feel like Lil Wayne will always have like a special place in my heart, well, his music anyways. And I was just so emotional and just so inspired, and just felt like he was using his platform for something amazing. And I just feel like this interview deserves all the praise in the world. Emmanuel Echo and Lil Wayne, this interview is amazing. I definitely recommend subscribing to Emmanuel's channel if you love like uncomfortable conversations and things of that nature, because his channel is so good. His content is so good. He really digs deep into topics where I feel like a lot of people don't want to touch those types of topics. He will like dive right in, and I love that about his content. I definitely recommend checking out this interview, even if you're not a Lil Wayne fan. I really, again, think that he is doing amazing things using his platform and spreading this message, because it is super important that mental health isn't stigmatized the way that it is, especially when it comes to Black men and women. Because again, they are, in my opinion, the most stigmatized when it comes to pretty much everything, but especially mental health. And especially Black men, they are not taken seriously when they talk about mental health or they address their mental health. So for him to use his platform and to use his voice and to be so vulnerable, it is just so inspiring in my opinion. And I would love to know how you feel, if you are a Black man or woman, how you felt about the interview, or just in general, if you saw the interview, how you feel about it. Did you think that it was a good interview? I'm surprised that this interview doesn't have more views, to be honest with you. I'm looking at it right now. When I watched it last night, it had like 50,000 views. It has 281,000 views right now. In my opinion, this interview should have millions of views. Looking in the comments, people are saying probably the best interview that Wayne has done. Congratulations, Emmanuel. 1000% agree. This is my favorite interview Lil Wayne has ever done, and I have watched hundreds of interviews and read hundreds of interviews throughout the years. I'm probably exaggerating saying hundreds, but you get my drill. Like, you catch my drift. Like, I, again, was a Lil Wayne fan. I feel like I've said that 1,000 times. So I've listened and watched everything Lil Wayne has been in over the years. Realest, most sincere thing I've watched in a long time. This right here, it's much deeper than fame. It's passion. And that's the other thing too. He is passionate about making music. It's not just about the fame and money. We all have battles that we go through daily. It's the way you react that could change your life forever. Be grateful, be kind, and be thoughtful of those around you. Absolutely. Lil Wayne also says that God is the reason why he survived that self-harm injury, and also why he is where he is today, which I love that. I'm not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person, so I think that's amazing. Glad to see how men are talking about their mental health. Most times they're ignored and they never disclose what's going on. Salute to Wayne for his vulnerability. Absolutely. It's real, hit hard. I grew up thinking Lil Wayne was a gangster, a rapper I could never relate to, but this is what mental health conversations should look like. Sharing experiences and listening, not considering. I wish it was longer though. Incredible. I absolutely agree with that. This interview, yes, It's 17 minutes long. I feel like it could have been longer, but I also understand like you got to keep it short, keep the audience engaged, what have you. But I would love to see a second part to this interview as well. Growing up on Wayne, this hits home. Glad we get to see a different side of him. Let your light shine through, brother. And that's another thing, not just with Black men and women, but like men in general, and with them speaking out about their mental health, it's very stigmatized. So again, I totally commend Lil Wayne for this. All the problematic crap aside, great interview, Emmanuel and Lil Wayne. Highly, highly, highly recommend, again, watching this interview. It was amazing. It gave me chills. It inspired me, especially since I've been in a rut like the last few weeks, and here I am filming about it. So it really must have got me thinking. Let me know how you guys like this shorter form content when I am inspired to talk about a certain subject. I know it's like super short and not my normal long form content, but I just really want to talk about this because I feel like this interview needs to get all eyes that it possibly can, because Lil Wayne is speaking facts in this interview, y'all. But if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's all gravy, baby. At the end of the day, it's all engagement. Also, I would love to know if you grew up on Lil Wayne or you know who Lil Wayne is. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Lil Wayne song is, okay? Mine would either be Fireman or I like the song Single. Those are two good songs right there. And don't forget, if you like my vibe and want to join the Jelly Bean tribe, don't forget to subscribe. And I really hope to see y'all on the next one. Bye, guys. Bye!